Well, the media suggests we could be only a day or so away from returning to war with Iran, and I'm hearing that the Russians are gonna unveil some new weapons in Ukraine. So it looks like it's gonna be a very troubling week ahead. So let's check back again later. Do you have any final thoughts before we wrap up?
No,
No.
I agree with you. I think we could title this talk "Up the Escalation Ladder." Just very depressing to think where we are, and it's also very depressing to think that two individuals like us who have spent a lot of time thinking about these issues really can't come up with stories to tell about either one of these two conflicts that have even a quasi-happy ending. It's just very depressing.
I keep wondering if there's a feels like there's a wider problem we have now across the West, that is the inability to like objectively look at a situation. For years, at least between 2015 and 2022, I was always warning that we should do everything we can to implement the Minsk agreement. We should be happy we have this. This can prevent a major war. If we ignore this, we're gonna invite a major war. And it was impossible to even have that discussion. Every time I tried to make this point, the argument more or less was, well, that's pro-Russian. If you're pro-Western or pro-Ukrainian, then you won't implement this because this would be a capitulation. So everything's dumbed down to pro this or pro that, and no one ever explained how they imagine this playing out. If you ignore this peace deal, you build up the Ukrainian army to the point where the Russians sees, okay, now we can't accept this existential threat. I mean, even now, we know what has happened by ignoring this peace, by escalating at every turn. This was not good for Ukraine. It's being destroyed. This is not good for the West. We're being weakened, being fragmented. No one can explain a convincing story how this was going to play out. And even after it all becomes a mess, they use it as an evidence for, well, look, we always told you that Russia was bad, but there's no serious discussion, and it's just, if you have to be pro this, and if you are, then you have to repeat these slogans. If you contest it, well, then you're with the enemy. Essentially, I miss common sense. I miss actual discussions and debate. We definitely don't have it in this country, and it's a big problem across Europe. So, anyways, yep.
Hard to disagree with you. Just one final point, Glenn, just going back to uh, Vietnam. One thing I learned in those days, and it's been proven true uh, over time, is that it's very easy for the United States to get involved in wars, but it's very difficult to get out. You get into these conflicts thinking you're going to win a quick and decisive victory, or you pursue a policy that looks like there's going to be big trouble ahead, but you say to yourself, I can deal with it. I can fix the problem as I move forward. But that is invariably not the case. You rarely win quick and decisive victories when you go to war. Sometimes you do, but uh, when the United States picks a fight with a country like Iran, I say to myself when it starts that this one is going to be very difficult to get out of. Same thing is true when we invade Iran. I mean, when we invade Afghanistan and when we invade Iraq. I mean, we go into Iraq in 2003. We finally get out in 2011. Then we have to go back in 2014. And we still have troops on the ground in Iraq. We're still interfering in the politics of Iraq. It's really quite amazing. It took us 20 years to get out of Afghanistan, and the Vietnam War was another disaster. But anyway, getting into these conflicts is much easier than getting out of them. That's one lesson I learned a long time ago, and I think these conflicts prove that to be true.
Yeah, well, definitely. Yeah, that's been a lesson over the past 30 years as well. This forever wars, easy to start, hard to finish. And that will definitely be the lesson of the Iran war as well, as the Strait of Hormuz now seems to be lost. Anyways, thank you so much for taking the time, and yeah, hope to see you again soon.
You're welcome, Glenn.